Okay, so I watched the Wuthering Heights movie last night, Wuthering Heights, and I thought that I would just review it for you guys in case any of you are on the fence about whether or not you want to go and see it. So first, I will not give any spoilers, and then I'll tell you if I do. But I actually liked it a lot more than I was expecting. I feel like the trailer made it look like it was going to be really salacious, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I was prepared for. And cinematically, it was very beautiful. The costumes were beautiful, the casting were beautiful people, the sets were beautiful. It was very artistic, and I also think that even just the way that the camera angles were and the cuts was kind of telling a story of its own also, which I really liked. I know that a lot of people took issue with the casting of Margot Robbie because she is not a teenager like Kathy is in the book, and also with the casting of Heathcliff because he's not dark-skinned. Jacob Elordi is a white person, and in the book he's dark-skinned. The thing is, I think what you have to understand is that when Emerald Fennell put Wuthering Heights in quotes, those quotes are dismissing like basically the entire story of Wuthering Heights. Those quotes are giving her permission to do pretty much anything. Those quotes are giving her permission to do pretty much anything and call it Wuthering Heights. It's Wuthering Heights inspired rather than actual Wuthering Heights, and I do think that as far as the casting of both of those characters, you have to think about the fact that she knew both of these people and had worked with both of these people prior to making Wuthering Heights, and I don't even think, maybe she auditioned Margot Robbie for Kathy, but I don't even think that she auditioned Jacob Elordi for Heathcliff. I think that when they were working on Saltburn together, she just felt like she could see Heathcliff in him and offered him the role. So I don't think that she was picking him, instead I think that she just felt the vibe of Heathcliff from him outside of the casting process. And I actually think that he was a really good Heathcliff. There was something about him, like he could do things that were bad, but also you could feel like a layer of maybe emotional vulnerability or hurt underneath everything in a way that you could kind of forgive some of the mistakes that he made and things like that. I thought he was great. What I did think was an odd casting choice is that in the book, everybody's white except for Heathcliff. He's the only one who's not white. In the film, everybody was white except for characters who she kind of recast as villains. Edgar Linton, there's nothing wrong with Edgar Linton, but he's like a romantic villain in the book, kind of, because he's not Heathcliff, and he's what's keeping Kathy from being with Heathcliff. And here's a spoiler, okay? She recast Nellie as a villain, which she isn't in the book. And those characters, she did make minority people, which I thought was bizarre, to cast a white person as the protagonist of the story when they're not supposed to be, and then cast minority people as villains when in the book they're not villains. So explain that to me, Emerald Fennell, because people have asked her to explain the Jacob Elordi thing, and I mean, what she said was that this is her version of Wuthering Heights and how it made her feel when she read it at 14. And I can definitely see that. But also, I guess that her 14-year-old imagination couldn't picture a dark-skinned male protagonist, a male love interest, you know? Like I said, I'm fine with him being cast, but the movie I thought was good. So now I'll get into some more spoilers. It really did not have very much to do with Wuthering Heights at all. The characters were missing, such as Hindley, and Mr. Earnshaw was sort of rewritten to take Hindley's role of being an antagonist. Nellie was turned into an antagonist, seemingly just so that you would like Kathy more. And, you know, in the book, Kathy's like a little bit evil at times. And Nellie took on that role on her behalf, I felt like. I was curious because the book, or the movie, only takes the first half of the story and it doesn't leave the second half, like it's fully untouched. So I wasn't sure where exactly they were gonna cut it off and how. I knew that Kathy's death would be the end of it, but I didn't know how they were gonna finish the movie. And instead she just makes Kathy's baby die, which makes sense if you're gonna end the movie there. But that is definitely not what happens in the book. And I do think that the fact that that Kathy doesn't die from sepsis in the book speaks more to her character in a negative way and how selfish she is. The themes of classism also are just not explored. It feels like it's sort of just the whole movie was just an excuse to watch Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi make out on really beautiful sets and in really beautiful locations. So if you're in the mood to watch them make out, go ahead and see the movie. I did think that the movie was good. It wasn't Wuthering Heights, but I wasn't expecting it to be. And it was fun as a completely separate thing that's like a Wuthering Heights inspired fever dream. I'm gonna go see it again on Tuesday.